Joining me in studio this morning is the president of Texarkana College, James Henry Russell. Thank you, sir, for doing this. Appreciate it.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right, let's just jump right into this because you jumped right into it.
I did.
Did you have any idea things were the way they were when you took the job?
You know, obviously I knew there were problems. I think all of us over the last couple of years have heard it on the radio,
Sure.
read it in the paper, and knew there were some issues. I had no idea that they were as deep as they were, or the finances were so out of balance.
Give us a little synopsis, if you can, of exactly what happened here, because we all thought that TC was doing well. We heard about a reserve, and then all of a sudden we start hearing and reading that things are not so well, not so good.
You know, Texarkana College for so many years has given an incredible service to this community and still is doing that today. And the big thing I want to put out is we're going to still be doing it for many years in the future. We're going to do what's right, and we're going to get through this. But over the last 10 years, things in the state of Texas have changed, obviously. I knew that as superintendent at Texarkana ISD. All other 1,100 school districts in the state did. All other 50 community colleges did. That state money has been gradually shrinking over the last few years, and colleges have had to start doing things like charging tuition and expanding their tax base, because really the burden now on community colleges is on that local entity. It used to be 80% funded by the state of Texas, and that's just no longer the case. So Texarkana College, and the good thing about it, they continue doing exactly what they have been doing, and that's providing a great education to the community at a very low price, and that's been good for the community. The bad part of it is, while everyone else was changing and getting ready for this much lower state-funded day, TC didn't, and then over the last 3 years, there's just been some really bad financial decisions made, and the $22 million reserve has gone away for things like a computer system, a lot of personnel hires while student enrollment was decreasing a little bit. Again, the state funding going down, and giving away scholarships that there was no donations coming in for. About $5.5 million has gone to scholarships, and only about $500,000 was donated for those. So that's just not something you can sustain and continue.
Well, is this a case where the either administration or the board was asleep at the wheel, or they just continued wanting to do what they thought was best and the money would come in at some point?
You know, Jeff, I really believe the last part is exactly what it was. Again, Texarkana College has provided such a great service for free for so long, and that's really what the board wanted to do, and I think that's what the administration wanted to do too. I don't know where everyone thought the money was going to eventually come from, because the writing has been on the wall for several years, especially the last 4 or 5. But I do believe, from everything that I have seen, the intent was to try and keep Texarkana College just like it has been. And unfortunately, in today's world, it's just not sustainable or possible.
Yeah, you really hurt me this morning. I was reading online on the Gazette's website about you're even talking about possibly cutting baseball, softball, and golf. Golf is something that's just recently been added.
It is, and I want to stress that that's not a done deal yet. It hasn't even been announced officially as a possibility yet, but it is something we're considering, you know, and I have to consider absolutely everything. Athletics is so important, but the survival of the college is more important. And this summer we cut just about every big ticket item that we could find. There's not many left. This is something that impacts about 70 students. Obviously, it's something very important to those 70 students. It's important to us, but a $500,000 loss on those operations. I don't have very many more $500,000 options out there. It's something that we're considering, probably looking at a February timeline to consider. I would love for a listener this morning to write us a $2 million check to cover athletics for the next 3 years. We'll be back on our feet by then, and I think could sustain it. $2 million over 3 years is a lot of money. And right now, I think we have to show the public that we are accountable, that we're willing to make the tough cuts, because in November, we're going to ask them to support us just a little bit. But I think we have to do everything possible first to show this community that we're taking a hard look inside first. We're getting just as efficient and as effective as possible. And we're staying true to our mission, which is providing an education for this community and providing a great workforce for the future.
Yeah, the first thing people talk about is the salary structure. Talk about how the community college salary structure, how you guys come up with that, and is it possible to cut that at any point?
It is possible to cut that, and it's something that we're looking at. In fact, here in about 2 hours, I'm meeting with all the faculty at Texarkana College, and I'm going to be asking all of them to teach an extra class for free, basically. It's not something I want to do. I know it's not something they want to do, but I have a feeling that our faculty is going to step up and do it. Last night, I asked all of my key leadership team to voluntarily take a 5% pay cut. I've received a response back from about 80% of them that they are willing to do so. I'm doing the same myself. So we are cutting internally everywhere we can. I have already eliminated about 60 or 70 positions this past summer. Unfortunately, we've got to go through more and eliminate more. We've got to get this place just as streamlined as possible. And Jeff, we are streamlined. Now, I'm not going to tell you we're 100% efficient. I don't think any group is. But Texarkana College is efficient. We don't spend a whole lot of money on operations. We have a revenue issue where most of the state, the community colleges get 40% of their budget from taxes. We get 5%. So we're having to make that up by being extremely efficient. We've got to find a way to survive over about the next 24 months until we can get this tax stream coming in. It will be very small. We will continue to be one of the lowest tax-funded community colleges in the state, even if it passes. But we'll make it up by working harder than everybody else because I've got people that love Texarkana College. They're committed to it. They're committed to this community. And we're just going to do whatever it takes to survive and get through and keep providing that top-quality education at one of the most efficient prices of anywhere in the United States.
Speaking of the proposed tax increase, what are you looking at?
We are looking at a November general election day. Obviously, with a presidential election day, that will be the largest voter turnout over a 4-year period. So I think it's pretty obvious we're not trying to hide from the public on this. Unfortunately, I think I've been on the front page of the Gazette for about 4 or 5 days in a row, and I'd really like to disappear for a while. But I also feel we owe it to this community to be very transparent and honest what's going on. That's why I'm here today. I know you have a huge listening base. We want people to understand. We want people to ask questions. People want to know who's accountable. I agree with that. And as I'm telling everybody since June 6, 2011, I am accountable. My name is on the line. My reputation is on the line. I love this community. My family loves this community. We want to stay here forever. We want to fix this and bring it back to something that everyone's proud of. So in November, we'll be asking for a tax annexation election. I'm pretty sure we'll do all of Bowie County. Whether or not we'll go into Cass County yet, I don't know. I'm meeting with the Cass County Atlanta Rotary Club today, and I'm going to ask them that question. But definitely go after Bowie County, and it's a 10-cent tax rate. So basically, for every $100,000 worth of property that you have, it will cost you $100. So I'm not going to say that's small. Relatively, I guess it is, but in today's time, there's nothing small. But I hope people will consider it's a small part to pay for a strong Texarkana College.
I asked you this on the phone the other day, and I'll ask you again, for the sake of the listener. Is it possible to run a community college only off of tuition?
It's not. If you have a very affluent population, if you are a private school with nothing but affluent families and students coming, absolutely. But that's not who Texarkana College is today. Obviously, we have some affluent students, we have some middle-class students, but we also have a large population of students that without Texarkana College, they're not going anywhere else. They can't afford to go anywhere else. Texarkana College is the hope they have for a better tomorrow, and I'm really concerned that without a Texarkana College, so many students in about a 50-mile radius around here will not have that opportunity to get that workforce training, that academic part. If we lose our sports team, so many of our young men and our young women, that's all they care about at 18 years old. And without that opportunity that kind of tricks them into an education, I'm worried they're going to fall through the cracks. Northeast Texas is behind the rest of the world on education. We're behind the rest of the world on income. You look at state averages and national averages. we fall behind in all of those categories. We need more education, not less. And Texarkana College is the model to do it because we're so accessible, we're affordable, and we are so inexpensive.
Final question for you before I let you go, so I know you got a busy morning this morning. When you look at the landscape of what's happening in the area, you've got University of Arkansas coming to the Arkansas side of Texarkana. You've got Texas A&M now emerging as a four-year university where people can actually live on campus. There's other entities coming in. Phoenix, University of Phoenix is talking about coming here. When you look at the landscape, what is your vision for TC for the future?
You know, Jeff, I like competition. Now, my honest answer may be, sure, you'd like to be the only game in town, but I think that may be a little bit of what has happened to Texarkana College and why we're in the shape that we are in right now. I think we got complacent for a while. I think it's easy to get complacent when there's no competition.
Sure.
Now there is competition, and I think it's going to be friendly competition. Bix Rathburn is a great friend of mine, and we have a good transfer agreement between the two, and we build our students to get ready to go to A&M, so that's a great relationship. Chris Thomason is awesome. I mean, he is a winner. He is a racehorse. He is going to do a super job at UACCH. It's going to be a good thing. It's going to be a good thing for our Arkansas students in this area to take advantage of the lottery scholarship. I think we can find ways to work together that will be good for this overall community. I think there are more than enough students in this area that need an education that all of us can be strong. And I also think a little healthy competition will make all of us wake up a little earlier and work a little bit harder during the day. So, obviously we do have to work harder to get the students. It's going to spread the student base out a little bit for a while. But if you look at communities like Tyler that has UT Tyler, Tyler Junior College, and some other options in the area, over time they all grow and they all do better. So I think the key is that we all work together just as much as possible, but that we also all work very hard to make sure we have very efficient programs that match the needs of the community. And if we do that, I think we're all going to do well in the future, and the community's going to do well, and our students will do well, and that's the reason why we all exist.
How can someone get a hold of you if they have more questions about this?
I will come and talk to anyone, anytime, anywhere. So they can email me at jhr@texarkanacollege.edu. That's jhr@texarkanacollege.edu. My cell phone is 278-2150. It stays on 24/7. I try and answer every email that I receive by midnight every night. So if people want to talk to me, if people want to ask me a question, send it. I'll talk to anybody. I'll answer any question. I'll show up anywhere to talk about our situation and where we're going. We are going to make it. Our classes are opening in about a week. We're the best and most efficient game anywhere in this area. The credits count. People are worried that we're going away and they've wasted their time. That is completely false. The credits count. They're transferable. We're going to get through this. This community supports Texarkana College.
Excellent. James Henry Russell, thank you, sir, for joining us. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.